I remember the sound before I remembered the light. A slow, rhythmic beep, 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 the kind that lives somewhere between comfort and fear. When I finally opened my eyes, or at least, I thought I did, the world looked blurry, faded, like a dream that didn't want to end. I could hear voices, soft ones, floating above me. Her pressure's low. Doctor, she's not responding. Should we call her family? That's when it hit me. I couldn't move. Not my fingers, not my head, not even my lips to whisper a prayer. I was trapped inside my own body, alive but silent. I tried to scream, nothing. I tried to blink, to twitch, to do something, nothing. My heart was racing, but my body refused to obey. And that's when I heard it. The doctor's voice, calm, heavy, hopeless. She can probably hear us, he said softly. Sometimes, they still can, but she's not coming back. My heart froze. I can hear you. I wanted to shout, I'm still here. But no sound came out. The air smelled like antiseptic and fading flowers. Someone had brought lilies. My daughter, I thought. She always brought lilies. My baby girl. I could hear her crying softly. Mom, please don't leave me. Her voice cracked. She doesn't deserve this. Not like this. My sweet child. I wanted to reach out, to hold her, to wipe her tears. But my body was nothing more than stone. Then another voice, my son's. Cold, flat, tired. She wouldn't want to live like this, he said. We have to think about what's best for her. I wanted to scream. No, not yet. I'm still here. But the words were buried deep, trapped behind lips that wouldn't move. The machines hummed. The rain tapped gently against the hospital window. And in that sterile, cold room, I realized the truth. They thought I was gone, but I was still listening. Before I go on, if you're still here with me, thank you for listening to my story. My name is Margaret. And what happened next changed everything I believed about life and death. If you believe in miracles or you've ever felt unheard, stay till the end. And please, take a second to subscribe, so you don't miss the stories that remind us we're never really alone. Before that hospital room, before the stillness, before the sound of machines breathing for me, there was just me standing in my kitchen, stirring a pot of soup. It was a Tuesday. I remember because Tuesdays were my favorite quiet days. The kind of day I'd hum my favorite hymn while the sunlight spilled through the window, dancing on the floor. I had just set the spoon down when something inside my chest shifted. Not pain at first, just a strange heaviness, like the world suddenly pressed down on my shoulders. I gripped the counter. Lord, what's happening? I whispered. The floor swayed under my feet. My vision blurred, my heart stumbled. Then, darkness. When I woke, it wasn't light that met me. It was noise. Flashing sirens. Voices shouting, she's losing consciousness. Stay with us, ma'am. I remember the taste of metal in my mouth, the oxygen mask pressing against my face, the paramedic's hand squeezing mine. You're gonna be okay, he said, but his eyes told me otherwise. And then, a woman's voice, faint but trembling. My daughter, please save her, she cried. She's all I have. Even then, even half gone. I wanted to tell her, baby, I'm not leaving. Not yet. The next thing I knew, cold air rushed around me. Bright lights burned my eyes. Doctors moved fast, the sound of machines. The smell of latex, the click of heels on tile. BP's dropping. Get the crash cart. Starting compressions. I heard everything, every word, every desperate command, but I couldn't move. Couldn't even blink. It felt like being trapped between two worlds, one filled with voices calling my name, and another whispering me to rest. Then quiet. Everything slowed. The light above me dimmed, and I remember thinking, so, this is it. All the years, all the prayers, all the laughter and tears. It all narrows down to one final moment of breath and stillness. But just before I slipped away, I felt something. A warmth, gentle and familiar, like someone had placed a hand over my heart. It wasn't the doctor. It wasn't the nurse. It was him. And I knew whatever was coming next, he was there with me. The beeping grew slower, then stopped. The last sound I heard before the world went silent was my daughter's voice breaking into a sob. "Mom, please, please come back." And then, nothing. When I opened my eyes again, the world was dim. The ceiling above me was white, too white, and the hum of machines filled the silence that used to be my heartbeat. It took me a few seconds to realize I wasn't breathing on my own. A tube down my throat, IVs in both arms, wires everywhere, and voices distant, muffled, like echoes inside a tunnel. "She can't hear us," one said. "Maybe it's time to let her go." No, I wanted to shout. "I can hear you. I'm still here." But my lips wouldn't move. My body was a prison. Footsteps approached. A gentle hand brushed my forehead. My daughter's voice trembled. "She looks so peaceful," she whispered, "like she's just sleeping." My poor girl. I wanted to reach out, hold her hand, tell her that I was still inside this broken shell, watching, listening, begging. Then I heard the doctor. His tone was calm but heavy. "She's not in pain, but the scans show almost no brain activity. We have to be realistic." A pause. My son's voice, tight with exhaustion. "Mom wouldn't want to live hooked up to machines." My daughter sobbed. "You don't know what she'd want. She's a fighter. She always has been. God bless her." She was right, because inside that still, silent body, I was fighting harder than I ever had before. The air in the room felt thick with sorrow. Every breath from the living weighed heavy on me, like a fog pressing down on my soul. The nurse adjusted my blanket, whispering, "You've been strong, ma'am. If you can hear me, just rest." But I couldn't rest. Not yet. Because I could hear everything. The pain, the debate, the sound of my own life slipping through their fingers. Then, through the blur of sound, I heard my grandson's voice. Tiny, quivering. "Mommy, when will Grandma wake up?" "Oh, baby." His mother knelt beside him. "She's very tired, sweetheart. She's sleeping with the angels now." No, not yet. I screamed inside my mind. Not yet. I wanted to hold that little boy again, to bake him cookies, tell him stories, braid his mother's hair like I used to. I wasn't ready to be a memory. But my body didn't care. My body had already chosen silence. The machines around me beeped softly. The rain tapped against the window again, faint, like a heartbeat far away. And then, a final whisper from my daughter. "If you can hear me, Mom, please give me a sign." I tried. My fingers twitched, just barely, but no one saw. So I prayed. Not for life, not for a miracle, just for one more moment to be seen. And God must have heard me, because that moment was closer than anyone knew. They say when you die, your life flashes before your eyes. But for me, it wasn't life that I saw. It was light, warm, gentle, endless. The room faded away. The voices, the machines, the tears, they all melted into silence. And I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time, peace. It wasn't the kind of peace you find in sleep. It was deep, pure, holy. I stood, or maybe I floated in a space filled with golden light. There was no ceiling, no pain, no weight on my chest, just a stillness that wrapped around me like a soft blanket. Then I heard it. A voice, not loud, not booming, just a whisper. Calm, steady, full of love. "My child," it said, "you are not alone." I turned, and the light grew brighter. I couldn't see a face, but I didn't need to. I knew it was him, and I wept, not from fear, but from gratitude. All the pain, all the loneliness, all the nights I prayed and wondered if he heard me. He was right there. Always had been. I wanted to stay. to let go. But the voice spoke again, gentle, like the sound of a hand resting on your shoulder. Not yet. And in that single moment, the light began to tremble, like the very air around me was being pulled back toward the world I'd left behind. Then, faintly, I heard another sound, distant, muffled, the echo of a nurse's voice. Doctor, wait. I think she moved. No, it couldn't be. I had already said my goodbyes. But then the light began to flicker, fading into the sterile white of hospital walls. The warmth turned cool. The peace gave way to noise, voices shouting, machines beeping, feet rushing across the floor. She's breathing. Check the monitor. My chest heaved. Air, real, heavy air filled my lungs like fire. I gasped. My eyes fluttered open, and there they were, the same faces that had watched me fade. Now frozen in disbelief, the nurse dropped her clipboard. The doctor stepped back, whispering, "This isn't possible." But I heard another voice, softer, my daughter's. "Mom." I turned my head, slow, shaky, and managed a faint smile. "Baby," I whispered, "I told you. I wasn't ready yet." Tears fell hers, mine, the nurse's. The doctor kept repeating words like spontaneous recovery, unexplainable event, medical anomaly. But I knew the truth. It wasn't science that brought me back. It was grace. The same hand that held me in that golden light had sent me home. Because my story wasn't finished yet. When I finally opened my eyes again, the world felt new. Every sound, the hum of machines, the whisper of footsteps, the quiet sobs from my daughter sounded sharper, alive, like I was hearing creation for the very first time. A nurse leaned over me, her hand trembling. "Miss, can you hear me?" I blinked once. Then again, tears fell from her eyes as she whispered, "We thought we lost you." I wanted to speak, but my throat burned. My lips were dry. Still, I managed to whisper one word. "Why? Why was I here? Why me, when so many don't make it back?" The doctor entered, clipboard in hand, his face pale as a ghost. He kept shaking his head, muttering to himself, "This shouldn't have been possible." But I knew better. I wanted to tell him that faith doesn't care about what's possible. It moves in the spaces between logic and miracle. It whispers when science falls silent. They ran test after test, hour after hour. And when they finally left me to rest, I stared at the ceiling and let the tears fall. Because I remembered the light, the warmth, the voice that said, "Not yet." And I understood. He hadn't brought me back to relive the same life. He'd brought me back to use it. The next few weeks were hard. My body was weak, my heart fragile, but my spirit was burning. Every day, nurses came to check on me. But after a while, they stayed longer. Just to talk. They asked what I'd seen, what I felt, and I told them, not with big words or grand speeches, but with the simple truth. I saw love, and it was enough to bring me home. My daughter never left my side. Sometimes, I'd catch her watching me sleep, her hand resting gently on mine, as if she was afraid I'd slip away again. And every time I opened my eyes, she'd whisper, "Thank you for coming back, Mom." One night, as rain tapped softly on the window, she asked, "What did it feel like, being gone?" I smiled, weakly. "It didn't feel like gone," I said. "It felt like being held, like God just wanted me to rest for a while." Now, when I sit by that same window Bible in my lap, a cup of tea warming my hands, I don't ask why anymore, because I know I was taken to the edge of eternity. Not to die, but to remind others how precious it is to live. And if you're listening to me right now, wherever you are, please don't wait for a miracle to believe in one. Sometimes, faith isn't found in the light. It's found in the moment the darkness should have won, but didn't. You know, people still ask me, "Why do you think God sent you back?" And I always smile, because I think I finally understand. It wasn't for the doctors. It wasn't for the nurses. It wasn't even for my family. It was for you. Yes, you sitting there right now, listening to my story. Because maybe tonight, you needed a reminder that your story isn't over yet either. I know what it's like to feel forgotten. To feel like your best days are behind you. To sit in the dark and wonder if the world would even notice if you disappeared. I've been there. But let me tell you something, child. God doesn't make mistakes. If you're still breathing, there's purpose in your lungs. If your heart is still beating, there's meaning in every single thump. That night, when I saw the light, I didn't see angels with wings or choirs singing. I saw peace. And I felt love, pure, forgiving love, that said, my child, not yet. So now, every morning when the sun rises and that light spills through my window, I whisper, thank you. For one more day, not for riches, not for miracles, just for the chance to tell one more person, hold on, because sometimes, life gives you more than you think you can carry. But that's only because you're meant to show someone else it's possible to survive it. Before I go, let me say this. If you've made it this far, thank you. Thank you for letting me share my story. I hope, somewhere between the heartbreak and the healing, you found a piece of hope for yourself too. Please, my dear ones, don't forget to subscribe, because I have so many more stories to tell. Stories that might just remind you how strong faith can be, how light can still find its way through brokenness, and how no life, no matter how fragile, is ever truly forgotten. And tell me, where are you watching from? I'd love to know, truly, because every name, every place, every story matters here. We're a family now, built not from blood, but from faith and compassion. So if you're still here, listening to this old woman's voice, remember this. Your story isn't done. Your miracle might be closer than you think. And when you feel like the world's gone quiet, just close your eyes, breathe deep, and whisper, not yet. Because somewhere up there, someone's still listening. And he's not done with you either.